Welcome to Immigration Quicktake. This is Jessica Eyes with the American Immigration Lawyers Association. Despite a lot of work by immigration reform advocates during the August recess, the leadership of the House of Representatives continues to drag their feet and has yet to put immigration legislation on the floor. And we heard that at the end of last week, the bipartisan Gang of Seven in the House dissolved completely. While work on reform legislation seems to have slowed on Capitol Hill, the Immigration Policy Center released a new report showing that delay takes a real toll. Joining us to discuss the report titled The Cost of Doing Nothing: Dollars, Lives, and Opportunities Lost in the Wait for Immigration Reform is Mary Giovagnoli, Director of the Immigration Policy Center. Mary, thanks for joining us. Let's take this report section by section. Can you tell us first about the cost of doing nothing in dollars?
The primary thing that we've done in the last 20 years, really since 1986, is spend money on enforcement, border enforcement, interior enforcement. And since 1986, we've spent $186 billion on trying to end illegal immigration through enforcement only. But it hasn't really worked. In fact, in that time, we've seen the number of people who are living in the country unlawfully triple in size to the current 11 million or so people that live here. And that's because we know that this is not an issue that you resolve simply by throwing money at the border or at interior enforcement.
And now let's talk about the cost of doing nothing in lives. What have you learned?
Sure, that's even more disturbing, frankly, because people are dying and families are being separated because we've failed to create a working immigration system. So, for instance, since 1998, more than 5,000 immigrants have lost their lives in the U.S.-Mexico desert as a result of trying to cross the border unlawfully. And in that same period of time, at least 108,000 immigrant parents of U.S. citizen children have been deported. In fact, what we've learned, even in very recent years, is that more than 5,000 children were in the child welfare system in 2011, meaning these are kids who have gotten caught in the foster care public welfare system for children. And so what you'll see is really a tearing of family structures and of this important support mechanisms that people need, in addition to actual lives lost because of our failure to fix the system.
Finally, let's discuss the cost of doing nothing in missed opportunities. What are we losing as our representatives continue to ignore public support for reform?
We're losing so much revenue, tax revenue, earn new wages, additional spending that could be going into fixing our crumbling infrastructure in other ways. So, for instance, the estimates that both IPC and other groups have conducted suggest that we could generate an enormous amount of money in, say, tax revenues, up to $5.4 billion if we were to legalize the currently undocumented population. And we also know that by legalizing people, you would expand their own human potential and opportunities, but it translates kind of in a ripple effect through the economy, such that 750,000 to 900,000 jobs could be created simply by the increased spending and consumption that would be generated by a newly legalized population.
Thank you, Mary, for joining us. To see the report, please go to immigrationpolicy.org and click the Research and Publications tab. As always, thanks for watching Immigration Quicktake, and stay tuned for more updates through the American Immigration Lawyers Association.